I want to be very clear that criminal activity will not be tolerated. Law enforcement will respond and ensure that the rights and safety of all Portlanders are protected.
While the FBI investigates, elected officials and law enforcement sounding the alarm in hopes of preventing this from ever happening again.
Yeah, KOIN 6 political director Ken Boddy tracking the reaction and the investigation.
Well, you just heard from Mayor Wheeler. We also heard from Governor Kotek today and the secretaries of state in Oregon and Washington. The investigation a high priority, and they say it's an assault on a free and fair election. The FBI working with local law enforcement to get to the bottom of the ballot box destruction. Governor Kotek says in a statement, voter intimidation or any criminal act to undermine the upcoming election is un-American and will not be tolerated. This from Washington Secretary of State Steve Hobbs. I strongly denounce any acts of terror that aim to disrupt lawful and fair elections. We will not tolerate threats or acts of violence that seek to undermine the democratic process. To that end, Vancouver Deputy Police Chief Troy Price says that means increased police monitoring of ballot boxes.
We recognize how important this is, and we are responding within our capacity. We will burn some overtime.
Because of police staffing, it likely will not be what Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez wants, an overnight law enforcement presence at all ballot drop boxes. Her opponent, Republican Joe Kent, condemned the attacks and urged voters to check their election status.
I have full confidence in our law enforcement that they're going to get to the bottom of this.
Also, Clark County will revisit its fire suppression equipment at ballot boxes. The system worked in Multnomah County, but failed in Vancouver.
Try to obtain fire suppression devices that work better. We are modifying our ballot retrieval schedule and encouraging voters to deposit their ballots before 5:30 in the evening.
Oregon Secretary of State LaVon Griffin-Valade also condemned the attack on ballot boxes while adding, "Our systems are safe and secure." Meanwhile, the FBI, the police agencies involved, and elections officials are investigating the vandalism. Charges could include possession of a destructive device, manufacture of a destructive device, and additional charges. And Oregon statutes call destruction of ballots a Class C felony. That's punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a $125,000 fine. Well, today, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Oregon announced that Assistant U.S. Attorney Ethan Knight is now the district election officer, and that includes prosecuting fraud and election security. Could go up to a national level. Well, the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office also following this closely. So this is really all hands on deck when it comes to protecting our vote.
Yeah, if anything, it does seem like this person wanted to add to the uncertainty that a lot of people feel about the election process.
Yes, and we don't know the motivations at this point for whoever did this, but that's a possibility.
Yeah. All right, Kim, thank you.
Well, if you think your ballot could have been damaged, you can order a replacement through your local county elections office. We have a link to those over at KOIN.com. Also, track your ballot once it is sent to make sure it gets counted.